Hello, and welcome to Retro Tech Repair. Today we're going to be fixing a broken atomic pinball machine that I bought on eBay. Let's get started.
The Tomy Atomic Pinball. Not a VFD game like we've seen in the past, not a video game, but certainly an arcade classic, or at least a copy of an arcade classic. This one seems to be in nice condition. We have the feet, and the feet are often lost or broken, but these two are great and they just slide in right here. Here's the first, and the second. Fantastic. So as we turn it over, we'll take a look, and the play area looks nice and clean. The perspex over the play area looks good. The flippers work, but at first I thought there was something wrong with this mechanism that feeds the ball into the play area. Turns out it's just a way of counting that you've had 3 balls in play, and all you need to do is slide it a couple of times to the right, and then it's ready to go. So we're going to put the batteries in now. It takes 5 D cells, and the first one just goes across like that, which is a little unusual. I think that actually is powering a circuit on its own. I think that supplies the power to the bell mechanism, or bell sounder electronics, as we'll see when getting. The rest of the battery orientation is a little bit usual. It confused me at first. You can see me here trying to figure out what's going on. What happens here is all 4 batteries go in the same orientation, and that is of course a little bit unusual. Normally you have 2 going one way and 2 going the other to give you the 6 volts. In this case we have 2 sets of 2 facing in the same direction to provide 3 volts to the motor. So we'll reset the scoreboard, that's entirely mechanical, and then we'll switch it on, we get the one flashing light, and we'll see how it plays.
It doesn't seem like I'm very good at it. Okay, well, I don't think that works apart from the bells. I didn't see any action from these side bumpers in the main. Bumpers in the middle there were slow to react, if they reacted at all. I expected a lot more kind of action from those, and a bigger reaction from the bumpers at the side.
I thought at this point it would be interesting to take a quick look at the eBay listing. I paid £12.50 plus £4 shipping for this. I could have got a working one for that, but in fairness, this is a try to fix it video, so there wouldn't have been a lot of fun getting a working one. The seller's description is Tomy Atomic Pinball Boxed. I have tested this and it works, but the bells don't seem to sound. I'll leave you to determine if you think that's an accurate description, but here's my opinion.
The bell worked every time, so I think to say the bell didn't sound was perhaps a little bit misleading. Let's give the seller the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps he wasn't sure how this was supposed to behave, but in my opinion and my recollection, it is not working correctly. But we'll tear into it and we'll see if there's anything we can do to fix it. Well, let's see if we can figure out how to get inside of this. I've taken the batteries out and I see some screw holes here, although rather worryingly they are super loose, like maybe somebody has been here before me and had a little nosy in there, or maybe these are not the way in. But there are some bolts underneath. I don't know if when I turn those screws you can see those in there. There are some, sorry, not bolts, nuts. So I'm wondering if when I turn these, yeah, I'm just turning those nuts on the bottom. So if I pop the screwdriver in there, I turn these, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I'm just turning that nut. So obviously I need to secure that somewhere. How? When I try and unscrew it from the top. So let me see if I can find something to do that.
So I have this little socket set that I'd bought to carry around in my car, and I think we have a socket in here that's going to fit on the nut. I'd tried a thicker wool socket before, and unfortunately it just wouldn't fit down the recess in the plastic. But this one seems to fit just fine, so we'll go ahead and use this. The first 2 bolts came out without too much problem. When I came to do the third one, what I discovered was it's too close to the wall of the battery compartment, and the socket wouldn't fit over the nut that's in there. So in this case I had to use a screwdriver just to kind of wedge between the nut and the plastic to hold that nut still while I undid the screw from the other side.
So I'm hoping now that we can just lift this top section off. So let's see. Perfect. Now we start to see our way into the Atomic Pinball. So let's see now if we can get this play area off. It's my first time disassembling one of these, so I don't know quite how it would come apart. There it is. Perfect. It doesn't want to come all the way off. What I'm going to do is just release this again, in case the ball is holding it in place there. And indeed it was. Lovely. Okay, so I just realised I shot the whole last section without my chest mic on here, so it will be interesting to see. Looks like these just lift straight off. It is a metal play area, which is quite nice, so set those aside. I don't know about the bumpers. Looks like there's a cutout in here, so maybe just this one screw is all that's holding our play area on here. So let's try that. Great. So now the play. Oops! Just caught out on the corner of my kitchen cabinet. So we'll switch it on and we'll see what it does. It is entirely a mechanical device, really, apart from this electronics assembly up here for the sounds. We have a motor here that's driving this gear, and all of these bumpers are activated when a ball comes on, which then engages one of the gears in this central area here, which in turn engages the counter. So, for example, as we come along here, and I put weight on there, so the counter increments. Same here, and here. And as the counter increments, so the bumper runs. Okay, well I did something it didn't like and it seemed to get stuck. Oh, I know, look, it looks like what has happened. It is the gear has come off the motor, it's slid off the motor here, so if we just push that back on and we'll try that again. So interestingly, you'll see that the first few digits of the counter here are all on one reel. So as that advances, it advances as a whole. So, and then only the top two digits are independent from that. So I think the next thing for me to do is to start disassembling this and cleaning up some of these pieces. Okay, so let's give this a clean off. This is probably not the best thing to do, but I just don't like all of this thick grease on here that's aged and tired. Oops, I lost a piece over the edge there. Be careful working in this room because I am actually right next to the sink, so if I lose a piece into the sink, it may be gone forever. So here is my new lubricant. It's a silicone plastic safe. So let's just spray some of this on and see if it helps. A good coating there will give everything a spin. What I'm going to do also is I'm going to just put a little bit of silicone lubricant on all of these bearings as I put them together, just so that we have the best kind of lubrication that we can on all of this, so that we have the best chance of actuating these bumpers and so on. Okay, well, I'm afraid I couldn't find this spring, so I've had to take one from my spares machine. Never catch Techmoan saying anything like that, would you? The guy from Retro Man Cave, he wouldn't be talking such nonsense. Alright, let's try that again.
So I think when I originally recorded this, I'd realised by this stage that this left-hand pin was not as reactive as the others. But I was trying to ignore it and pretend that that wasn't the case, and so I carried on regardless. As we'll see later, there was a reason for it being not as reactive as it should have been.
Alright. Well, I think I've annoyed everybody enough now. So let's try putting the play area on and see how it plays.
So I now realise that I've lost the video where I was reassembling the pinball machine, where I put the play area and the flippers and the perspex back in. But when I came to test it, what I realised was that the cog has slipped off the motor again, and now we need to disassemble everything and connect that cog back onto the motor shaft with some superglue. So at first I thought I would apply some superglue directly to the cog, but when I saw the precision of the tip, or the size of the tip, in relation to the size of the cog, it became clear that that was just going to be too imprecise. So instead I decided to apply some superglue directly to the motor shaft and then connect the shaft onto the cog.
Alright, that's a little drop on the shaft of the motor. Superglue away, and we'll try and press this on and not ruin the motor there. Alright, so I'm going to leave that hanging there, and I'm going to go have a cup of tea. We're going to try and put this back together now. It's probably been sitting for about 5 minutes. Hopefully the motor still turns and the glue is going to hold this in place. So let's put this now back together. Okay, so we have our motor with its cog glued in place. It's not quite central on there, but it's not too bad. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the screws in now that hold the motor assembly together. It's interesting that all of these, although this is an electronic assembly up here to make the bell sound, still the mechanism of actuating it is just a mechanical switch there. So excuse my fingers now, they're pretty dirty. That's from the polishing that I was doing on the lid. But so now let's sit the play area back, freshly cleaned. And we're going to see if we can play it for a couple of minutes here. New shiny lid. It's not perfect, but still brighter than it was, so let's try it. Oh, well, you know, it's going to need flippers now, isn't it? So let's get those. You know, one option for me, I don't think that I'll be restoring another one of these. I really wanted one of these as a kid, but the gameplay isn't really that exciting. It's not that much entertainment from you. So there we go, let's try it. This flipper here, this particular pin's still not quite as reactive as I would hope, but maybe that's just a consequence of the way the mechanism works. But curiosity's got the better of me, so I'm going to take a quick look in there and just double check the action on that last bumper there. Certainly these bumpers now are much more reactive than they were before, which is nice. Just want to make sure that I've not got something a little out of place in this end one. Okay, well here I found something interesting. As I took that spring out to make this more reactive, what I found was that in fact I believe that it is two wound together, so my missing spring has intertwined itself with the first, and so consequently we had two times, can't really see that, two times the spring tension that we should have had on that flipper. Those two were together so, and I didn't spot it, and then when I've gone in to try and improve it, it's like that. And again, apologies for the marks on my hand there, that's just from the polish on the top cover. So that's great. So I found the missing spring, and I've made this a little better, I'm sure, so that's good news. See if I can get this back together and reassemble it. Okay, here goes. Oh, much better. Great. This is just how I remember it. This is fantastic. Okay, fantastic. So I'm very happy with that. I'm going to finish assembling this, clean up the few parts, and we will prepare it ready for its photo shoot and for sale.
And that just about wraps it up for our atomic pinball. We took something that was tired and broken, and we repaired it, cleaned it, and it's now ready to be sold back on eBay so that somebody can enjoy. When I eventually sold the game, I got less for it than I had paid for it, but I understand that the person who bought it as a gift for their granddaughter. I can't think of a better place for it to go, and I'm thrilled that it hasn't gone into landfill and that somebody else will get to play and enjoy it. Thank you for watching Retro Tech Repair.